Okay, the last graph for numerical data we'll talk about today are box plots. Box plots, which are also called box and whisker plots, give a graphical image of the concentration of the data. The box plot is constructed from 5 values called the 5-number summary. And the 5-number summary includes the minimum number, that's the left part of the box plot. The next one is the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, the maximum. These are the 5 numbers that basically divide your data set into 25% pieces, into quarters. So these numbers divide the data into 4 more or less equal pieces. So essentially 25% of the values are between the minimum and lower quartile, 25% are roughly between the lower quartile and the median, 25% are roughly between the median and the upper quartile, and 25% are roughly between the upper quartile and the maximum. The middle 50% of the data is represented by the box. And essentially the length of the box is the interquartile range. The entire length is the range, the max minus min. So you can see that we have the lower quartile, upper quartile, median, max min, interquartile range. Box plots have a lot of information from in a very simple graph to do it. One nice thing about box plots is that it can easily compare many different groups at once. For instance, here's a graph in terms of ratings for CSI, for the 15 seasons of CSI. And you see just at a glance that the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th seasons were at its height, and then you see the long decline until it was finally canceled at the 15th season. You can also see that the boxes are a lot bigger in the first few seasons compared to the last few seasons that were very narrow. And for me, I can interpret that the first season is where there's a lot of new people checking out the show. So there's a lot of big variation between the different episodes as far as ratings go. By the time we get to the last few seasons, it's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same people checking out the show. All right, one thing, there's actually 2 versions of box plots out there. There's one version that I talked about that you draw the whiskers up to the minimum and maximum. But there's also another version where you draw the whiskers up to a certain point, and then everything beyond that is going to be an outlier. So box plots can be used to show extreme values by dots or asterisks to represent potential outliers. So you might occasionally come up with a box plot like this, where when you see these 2 dots here, that means outliers. Alright, so the box plots below here show the number of millionaires by state per 1,000 households, as reported by Netscape.com in 2006. Now, suppose I want to list the regions from lowest to highest in terms of the median rate of millionaires in that region. Well, if I'm looking for the median, I'm looking for the bar inside the box. So from lowest, it looks like the lowest is this bar right here, which is in the south, and then the Midwest, and then the West, and finally the East has the highest. So South, Midwest, West, Northeast. Now, in terms of which region has the smallest interquartile range, that's the one with the smallest box. That would be the Midwest. Has the smallest interquartile range. And in terms of which one has potential outliers, well, if you see the West right here has potential outliers.